welcome to my first YouTube video. I'm super excited. My name is Cavell. Yes, the forehead is giving right now. I'm oily. I just moisturized because I'm gonna go on the road, but I decided that I'm in a mood. Why not record my first video now? I am Jamaican, so if you hear the accent, that's what it is. I'm Jamaican. I'm a Jamaican living in the US, but I love to tell people that I work in the US and I live in Jamaica. Anyways, so on this channel, it is going to be documenting my journey on purchasing a house in Jamaica. Come with me on my journey on constructing a home, but I'm also gonna answer like a couple questions that I usually get, which is whenever people find out that I own a house in Jamaica, they always ask me like, why did you buy a house in Jamaica? What was the process like buying the home? How are you upkeeping the home right now? Just a bunch of questions. So I used to tell my dad that to record every single thing for me. I tell him, record it. I don't care what this is, record it. We're going to record it because I know at some point this is going to be helpful to someone, or I hope it's helpful to someone. I don't have all the answers. A matter of fact, may I look for the answers in myself. So, I have my book. It says Believe. This book is my baby. One thing I've learned, write down everything and date it. Write down everything and date it. And when I say documenting everything, I literally mean like write it down. So I have some stuff, you're not gonna really see the whole heap of numbers. I'm gonna get into that later on in this whole YouTube journey. I'm gonna get in those things, but my grandfather, rest in peace granddad, he owned a restaurant and my dad used to do the accounting for the restaurant, and they used to always write down things in a book. Yeah, them use computer every now and then, but everything was mostly inside a book. So I have adopted that same things. Everything I purchased for the house, I put it in a book. Every cost that I've ever spent, I put it down in a book. Don't make them trick you. It's not, it feel good enough. It feel good for no say when my mother talk about me and my father talk about me, my brother talk about me, and everybody talk about me. It's like, yeah, my house like that feel good. But then no, behind closed door, Jaja, yo, thing rough. No, let me just go back and tell you a little bit about myself. So I'm in my early 30s. That's one. Okay, I'm in education. So I'm in education. I work in a school. I used to be a teacher. I'm not a teacher anymore. When I purchased the house, I purchased a house with a teacher's salary. I didn't have different streams of income when I bought the house. It's when I started construction is when I acquired different streams of income, and I'll talk about that. I'll talk about that hopefully a little bit down in the video. So why did I buy the house? In order to answer that question, I think it's important to kind of talk about where I was at that point in life and like how old I was at that time in life. So when I bought the house, I was actually 25 and I had been working for about 2 years as a teacher, and I was in a relationship, young, fresh, blooming. At this point is when I realized that I say and a lot and I talk with my hands quite often. And I lived here in the US, and things, girl was going on trip. I was going on trip like every single vacation I had as a teacher. I was on a trip. I was living my best life, honestly. So I wasn't even thinking of a house. My dad currently lives in Jamaica. I have quite a few family members that still live in Jamaica, and and then everybody else, like everyone else like lives here. Remember when I said I talk my hand again? Okay, but most of everybody else is currently in Jamaica, and then most of my mom's side of the family resides in the US. I'm talking to my mom and she's like, every time you go back to Jamaica, you're staying at your grandmother, you're staying at your grandfather, you're staying at this friend, you're staying at whatever friend. Why don't you just get a house? And I was just like, I'm not too sure because again, I was young and I was living life and I was thinking about buying car. As a matter of fact, I get one Axio. So I come back to Jamaica, I not feel rent car, I get an Axio. And the more I think about it, I say, would you buy a car? You live nowhere? Mm? Answer the question, you live nowhere? No, you still have a catch. You still have a catch. A people yard. So do the right thing. Listen to your mother and do the right thing. So I did. When I bought the house, I didn't have a lot of expenses. I was still living at home with my mom. I had a car, but the car payment was little to nothing. So within no time, when I say little to nothing, I'm literally talking about like 200 and something dollars a month was a car payment. Never really had much strain, and I was saving. I was saving. So when I look at it, I say I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. And also keep in mind, within the next 2 years, I knew that the small loan that I had for school would have been forgiven anyways because of going into the field of teaching, which they were forgiven. In the very early stages of April, I started to browse. So I started to browse on platforms like Century, 21GM. I started browsing on different bank websites because banks are the one that's giving you the loans, right? Them are also the one them where tech where they host them. So them are gonna put them on the platform. This is one of the better things that my dad did when I was growing up was he opened a bank account for me and my sister and my brother in Jamaica with a bank that is known for mortgage. So you probably know which bank may attack. Please don't put the bank in the comments. No one nobody. I don't want nobody come for me. I'm not even rich now. Okay. And so it made sense that was mostly browsing on that bank's website, and I found one. I found a couple actually, and we saw the realtor information that was listed there. We contacted the realtor. Again, I'm still in the US, so my dad was going to the visits, and thank God for phone because India video call me on WhatsApp and they show me all of the houses, and I found one that I really like. No, I've never done this before. My mother has never done this before. My father do it and him no member. Cause he did go through, the place close to Emancipation Park. If you know, you know. In a Kingston, EMD go over there, so and him no member what him do. So nobody can help me. Alright? So me go up on Google and type in a Google, what is the first step to purchasing a home?
Okay, so I felt like I was rumbling quite a lot, so I just wanted to go back to make sense of what I was saying. So previously, I was talking about the different websites that I had to go on to basically look at properties that I was interested in purchasing. Then, once I did that, I had to then reach out to the bank to get a mortgage. So the forms that you're seeing here are actually forms to open a mortgage account because that is different from a regular bank account at the bank. So those are the forms. It's important to note that all these forms were actually being taken care of through email. At the time, I was signing things, getting it notarized, and then sending it back to the bank. Specifically, I was sending it to a credit loan officer.
Once I was doing that, I was actually working with a credit support officer, the person who was gonna get me to fill out the required paperwork to do the intent to get the mortgage before I go to the loan officer. So then now I had to do some preliminary assessments, which included 3 months pay slip. I had to do an employment letter. I had to have a copy of my passport or my license, and I used my passport. I had to do so I had to do a completed income expenditure form, which basically just showed like the inflow and the outflow of my income, and I had to like it looked like one budgeting sheet. It looks like a budgeting sheet, so I'll pop it up on the screen so you can see. A lot of these things I'm gonna try to pop it up on the screen here. so that you can see our under here. So, anyways, and or over here, sorry. Okay, that you can see it, and then I had to do a credit report. Yes, and overseas they wanted like Equifax, TransUnion, etc. They never want a credit card or nothing. Okay, those are the one that they wanted. And if you're in Jamaica, you had to do a credit authorization form, and at the time it was $1,250. I don't know how much it is no, but that was 2017. If you are self-employed, in addition to the forms that I told you, like the reference form and application forms and so forth, you had to write in a letter, and it has to be um approved by the JP. You know how Jamaica go on them JP, and it basically had to express the nature of your business, and then you had to do a 2-year finance statement. You had to show proof of 2-year tax return, and you had to show 6 months bank statement. So when you do all these things now, it's supposed to say that you can get up to 90% of the money for the home. Interest rate at the time was 8.5. So that's what that was. So now April 20th, 2017, I got all my information verified. It went through, and now I got a loan officer. Had a loan officer, and they sent over an estimate proposal which had in it the amount of money that they were willing to give me to buy the house. In your heart, like my sweat. My sweat bad. First me did cold, but no me sweat. Come here move her. But that's a act nobody says I move her, move her. I start making video tiring. So I have to go with this camera. The amount of money that the maximum amount of money that they will give you for the loan is depending on your salary. Is depending on the income that they see from the bank statement and so forth. I sent the estimate proposal to my realtor because hello, you need to have proof of fund. By the way, throughout all this process, realized me and the realtor related. Right. Um, I had to submit the offer to purchase form, and that form is from the realtor. That form is from the realtor. It include my information, the address of the property, the lawyers. I had to get the guy's lawyer. I then was the guy's lawyer. By the way, I was also provided an attorney from the bank, but don't get it twisted. I had to pay her out of my pocket. And so the attorney basically worked with all the legal documents. She looked them over. She make sure say the everything that she just make she's looking out for my best interest. While we were going back and forth with the offer, one of the things was that um we had to do a valuation report, and we had to do a valuation report on the property that had to be within 6 months, and the property was actually valued lower than the amount of money that they wanted. So the property was actually valued 500,000 lower than the asking cost, and my attorney, big up she, anyway she did. She was able to negotiate some stuff, whereas um the seller had to fix a few things. First of all, I'm there for pay off all of them outstanding bills from the property. That was one, and that was also in our agreement. So they had to fix a couple of things on the house. I don't think it ended up being 500,000, but I did well on the house because at this point I was over it. We're now in May. We're now in May, and I did over it. I just did one house, and I just did one done. Okay. And now May 22nd, I had to they gave me a simple everything is now approved, and I got a simple mortgage fax, which just basically just detail the mortgage that they were giving me. And then no um I don't know what happened, but then July 7th, 2017, I was still dealing with the bank, And basically, I had to submit additional documents. Again, I had to now submit additional documents. I had to submit more pay stubs or pay slips that were closer to the closing date now to the bank. And then now, remember how I told you that I submitted my US passport? So that was no a problem because the bank didn't think that I had any ties to Jamaica. So because they feel like I didn't have any ties to Jamaica, the maximum amount of money that they could give me was 75%. I said, no, that's a ras. I mean, that's a rules. No, I said no. What do I need to do? So, and this is all again, this is all through email. No, them call me. Pana regular. Me and them talk on the phone pana regular. I go over the bank pana regular. Me and the Portmore branch, we are friends. Because I had submitted my passport is a US passport, not a Jamaican passport, it's a US passport. So them feel like say banana ties to Jamaica. Even though moving on, even though I had my TRN and all that stuff. Now we're in July, right? We're in July. For the funds to be distributed to me, I had to now send to the bank the signed agreement for the sale between my attorney and the seller's attorney. I had to send the valuation report. That was literally, I'm gonna tell you right now, in 2017, that was roughly 34,000. I told you I had to be within 6 months. I had to submit a copy of certificate of the title. So I actually had to go downtown. I don't know the road name. Just know to the place, close to George's, and it close to a school named Pentab. A school named Pentab. I think Pentab Basic School. It close to a school named where name? Jamaica Land. Jamaica Land. May I put this up here, so? But I had to go there and get a copy of the official copy of the an official copy essentially of the title. I had to do a copy of the last water bill. I had to do the current certificate of payment of the property tax. I had to, of course, had the 10% deposit, but I actually put more than 10%, and I can talk to you why I did that in a later video, but I actually put down more than 10%. And then I had to do like an estimate of the repairs. I had to give my TRN. I told you about the pay stubs already. I had to submit my tax form, 2 years worth of my tax form. I had to do proof of assets. So I remember sending them my bank statements, and in addition to my bank statements, I sent them my car title. Isn't that crazy? I sent them my car title. My other Jamaican mother, and she loved put up things, and when she put up things, she didn't know where she put them up from. And most of the time it's herself, because she can't find them. She put them up so good that she herself can't remember where she put them. So it was a hassle trying to find that. And then no, I had to the salary, of course, and then qualification intent for property, which basically meant like, what's the reason I'm trying to purchase this property? Was it for rent? Was it to live, etc.? All those documents went through, I got and this is all the lender office. I went to Jamaica and I went to Ligani. I remember I had to go to Ligani. You see, may I be too specific now, you know. So no one gonna know which bank me I talk about. Cause you know, the internet full of a be investigate. Please do not put anything in the comment, because me knowing, you know, and me right now in real time, I just come from watching a video there with the woman who detail our ex, and the people I'm find the man honest. Anyways, don't do that. So I went there and I signed a couple papers, and then I realized say because of my passport me use I can't get the maximum and they were willing to give me 98% of the money. They were willing to give me 98% of the money, even though didn't need 98% of the money. They were willing to give it to me. And me they have to go get an official copy of my birth certificate to then submit a copy, of course, then submit a copy of that so that they can adjust the amount of money that they were lending me. In the underwriting process, everything went well when I submitted those documents, and we're in the underwriting process. And once them done and them check out them things, I got the loan. Goody get a loan. Only for realize this was just the beginning of my headache. But anyways, I send it over back to the realtor. So July 17, 2017, I got the offer letter, and over the summer, me and the lawyer were signing documents, we were going back and forth, and I never get the key until October 3rd. It took 7 months for this whole thing to happen. So be prepared to do that. To be prepared to do that. Okay, so things about the property. Things about the property you should know. It's located in Portmore. So that's one. If you know anything about Portmore, everybody join up at each other, everybody each other. Second thing you should know about the property, that it is a corner lot. So we were going back and forth with the offer. There was a lot of people who wanted the house, and sometimes realtor tell you that other people want the house, and that's because they want you to offer up way more money than what is being asked. I mean, for them cuts are gonna be bigger. The third thing you should know is that I gave them 300,000 over asking, because again it's a corner lot and location is in Portmore. And if you know anything about Portmore, I didn't want to have to walk through how Portmore is set up, and I'll try to show you some images for anybody who don't know how Portmore is set up. But I did not want to have to walk through the house constantly to go to the back of the house. No, I just want to come out and I can walk on the side, I can walk to the house if I decide to walk through the house. So that's why I really wanted the corner lot, and there's not many of them that live in Portmore. The other thing is, it's a 2 bedroom, 1 bath, and a living room. And when we say 2 bedroom, it's really a box that they split up into the 2 bedroom, the bathroom, and the living room. The other thing that you should know about the property, was that it wasn't fenced. So it wasn't fenced. The other thing you should know about the property, it wasn't fenced. So yeah, people used to could have walked through the yard. The other thing that you should know about the property is that it was a 30-year mortgage, but I had a plan as to how I was gonna cut it down. The other thing you should know about the property, that it was just right for me and my family, and although a lot of headaches came with it, and I do mean a lot, and I'm gonna talk about a lot of those headaches, like the all stop, being a leak. The place never wire good. So like, yeah. So I was like, all in all, we made the right move. I didn't start construction on the house until 2020 in January. And yeah. It's in the next 3 years after owning that house. Hey, do life insurance. I do life insurance. I buy one taxi, put a taxi on the road. I do after school job. Yeah, but go and watch it. Thank you so much for watching my video. No, seriously, thank you. It means a lot to me that you got through the end. And if you skip through it too, that's okay. Stay tuned for the next video, because I'm gonna talk about the plan that I'm currently in. I'm literally in it now, to cut the mortgage in half, the years of mortgage in half. And then I'm also going to talk about the fact that I started constructing in 2020 and like the difficulties of that. And then I'm going to show you throughout the series the finished product of the house. I'm do for the transition. So